Hello. Hello. Yes, I can hear you. How about you? Can you hear me? All right. Yes, good morning. And how are you today? Oh, well, it's nice to hear that you're good. So now, yes, today's Sunday, so happy Sunday. May today bring you peace, rest, and gentle moments of joy, right? Okay. So now I assume that you can hear and see me well, right? Okay. So now this time, let me introduce myself. My name is Maureen and I'm from the Philippines. What about you? What's your name? Oh, nice meeting you. Nice meeting you, Koki. All right. Thank you. Okay, so today we're going to have a daily news lesson, and the title is The Key Shaped Holiday Wealth Up, Struggles Down, right? Okay, so now let's have the words and phrases. And let's have the first word, and please repeat after me. Disparity. Let's read a sample sentence. The disparity in salaries between men and women in the company is a serious problem that needs to be fixed. All right. Now, the word disparity is a noun, and that means a lack of equality or similarity, especially in a way that is not fair. All right. Next word, vulnerable. Young children are vulnerable to getting sick during the cold winter months. All right. Now, the word vulnerable is an adjective, and that means able to be hurt, influenced, or damaged. Okay, next word, paradox. It is a paradox that the more money people earn, the more they worry about spending it. All right. Now, the word paradox is a noun, and that means a situation or statement that seems impossible or is difficult to understand because it contains two opposite facts or characteristics. All right. Next word, unprecedented. The technology company achieved unprecedented growth in the first year of business. All right. Now, the word unprecedented is unprecedented is an adjective, and that means never done or known before. Okay, next word, profound. The professor's profound knowledge of history impressed all the students in the classroom. Very good. All right, so now the word profound is an adjective, and that means very deep or of great importance. All right, so those are the words that we've learned today. Now, this time, would you like to try to make a sentence using each word? All right, but later on, I'll be sending example sentences using these words in the chat box. All right, you're welcome. All right, so now let's go to the comprehension part. Now, I'll be reading the questions twice, and please listen carefully. Number one, how much of the stock market wealth do the top 1% of Americans control? Again, how much of the stock market wealth do the top 1% of Americans control? Number two, what is the difference in spending growth between high income and low income households? Again, what is the difference in spending growth between high income and low income households? Number three, how does the article describe the relationship between wealth concentration and financial vulnerability? Again, how does the article describe the relationship between wealth concentration and financial vulnerability? All right, so now this time we will listen to the audio of the article, and it starts
The
now.
K shaped holiday. Wealth up, struggles down. As the stock market soars, America experiences two very different holiday seasons. The top 1% control nearly 50% of stock market wealth, while the bottom half owns just 1.1%. Economist Peter Atwater calls this a K shaped economy. The wealthy prosper while others face hardship during the holidays. This disparity appears clearly in spending patterns. High income households increased spending 2.7% over the past year, while low income families managed only 0.7% growth. Inflation rose from 2.3% in April to 3% in September. Trump's tariffs may cost average households $1,700. Unemployment climbed from 4% to 4.4%, pressuring vulnerable populations. Anti poverty programs have contracted when support is most critical. New York City's poverty rate reached 25% this year, nearly double the national average of 13%. Major corporations acknowledge this divide. Delta reports strong premium ticket sales, Coca-Cola sees growth in expensive products, and McDonald's CEO noted customers are skipping breakfast or eating at home. The K-shaped Christmas reveals a fundamental economic paradox. Unprecedented wealth concentration coexists with widespread financial vulnerability. The holiday season illuminates the chasm between prosperity and struggle. This divide reflects profound changes in American economic structure and demands serious attention from society.
All right. So now this time let's answer the questions, okay? Oh, yeah, sure. All right. Here we go.
The K-shaped holiday. Wealth up, struggles down. As the stock market soars, America experiences two very different holiday seasons. The top 1% control nearly 50% of stock market wealth, while the bottom half owns just 1.1%. Economist Peter Atwater calls this a K-shaped economy. The wealthy prosper while others face hardship during the holidays. This disparity appears clearly in spending patterns. High-income households increased spending 2.7% over the past year, while low-income families managed only 0.7% growth. Inflation rose from 2.3% in April to 3% in September. Trump's tariffs may cost average households $1,700. Unemployment climbed from 4% to 4.4%, pressuring vulnerable populations. Anti poverty programs have contracted when support is most critical. New York City's poverty rate reached 25% this year, nearly double the national average of 13%. Major corporations acknowledge this divide. Delta reports strong premium ticket sales, Coca-Cola sees growth in expensive products, and McDonald's CEO noted customers are skipping breakfast or eating at home. The K-shaped Christmas reveals a fundamental economic paradox. Unprecedented wealth concentration coexists with widespread financial vulnerability. The holiday season illuminates the chasm between prosperity and struggle. This divide reflects profound changes in American economic structure and demands serious attention from society.
All right. So now let's proceed to answer the questions, okay? Yeah. Now, question number one. How much of the stock market wealth do the top 1% of Americans control? All right. That's next question. What is the difference in spending growth between high income and low income households? Yeah, that's true. That's correct. Number three. How does the article describe the relationship between wealth concentration and financial vulnerability? Yes, that's the article states that unprecedented wealth concentration coexists, yeah, with widespread financial vulnerability. All right. So now this time let's go to the next activity read out. And now you can go ahead and read the article. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Thank you for reading the article. Well, your voice was clear. Okay, and I know that I heard that you read attentively. So, but we have this two words that we need to practice the pronunciation. All right. So here, I'll send it in the chat box, and can you please read those words? Yes, that's contracted. Okay. Yeah, next word, please. Yes, it's chasm. All right, very good. Yeah. Okay. So now this time, and yeah, by the way, before we proceed to the discussion part, are you familiar with all the words in the article? All right. So good that you ask. And yeah, chasm means deep gap. Yeah, like deep gap. What is the other word? Division. Yeah, a division. So the word chasm means a deep gap, division, or difference between two things. Yeah. Okay, I'll write it in the chat box. All right, there. Okay. Now, do you have any other question? All right, so now let's move on to the discussion part. Now, you can answer the question freely or by using the situation given. All right. So now, do you think rising prices change how people enjoy their holidays? Why or why not? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. All right. Okay, so now I'll send your answer here in the chat box, and this time, this is gonna be the more improved version of your answer. All right. Okay, so I'll send the question first in the chat box, and yes, you can say like, yes, of course, rising prices affect how people enjoy their holidays. So if salaries stay the same, more money must go toward necessities like groceries and daily expenses. So as a result, families may have less money to spend on holiday activities or gifts, right? Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, even me, I can say that there's really a lot of difference when people spending holidays before than today. Yeah, all of the basic commodities nowadays are very expensive. So, okay. Instead, yeah, 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 here as well. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And before, if the holiday season is coming, people were already buying, firecrackers. Do you know that? Firecrackers. Yeah, 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 yeah. People already buy some firecrackers, even if the Christmas is upcoming. But nowadays, I don't see any because it's if you spend firecrackers, you better spend it for food, right? Yeah. Because nowadays it's just a waste of money, right? Yeah. Okay. So now next question. Do you think do you usually cook at home instead of eating out? Tell me the details. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Costco. Mm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now I'll send that in the chat box. Okay. All right. All right. So the question is there. And yes, you said yes, especially on weekdays. I usually cook at home because it helps me save time and money. I can stock ingredients in the freezer, and I often buy discounted items because they are much cheaper. I recently visited the Costco in Tokyo to buy some groceries and store them in the fridge, right? Okay. So yes, you can also say like, yes, I usually cook at home instead of eating out. It saves money, and I can prepare meals in advance by storing ingredients in the freezer. I also buy discounted items at supermarkets like Costco to reduce costs, right? Okay. All right. So now let's go to the next question. Now, um, what is one thing you usually stop buying when you need to save money, and why? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, so now I'll send that answer in the chat box. Yeah, but that is unnecessary things, right? Okay. So yeah, you said I usually stop buying clothes and fashion items when I need to save money because they are not necessary. I already have plenty of shorts, pants, and other fashion items, so I don't need new ones. Buying more clothes would be or would just be unnecessary, right? Okay. So yeah. And yeah, which is more important for a happy life? Letter A, having a lot of money, or letter B, having good friends. Give one benefit of your choice. Having good friends. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. More than just money. All right. Okay. So you're into connection more than money. That's good. Relationship. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Everyone needs money though. Okay. All right. So now, yes, you said having good friends is more important than having a lot of money. True friendship cannot be bought, right? So having good friends means sharing activities and experiences. I have a bunch of friends, and we have shared many experiences in high school and college. So these experiences are very important, even more than money, right? Okay. So yeah, you can also say like, all right. So Why is friendship important? Because, for several reasons, right? So, friendship is important for several reasons. Like, for example, emotional support, right? Yeah, emotional support. And then also shared experiences and also learning growth, right? Learning growth. And also it can reduce the stress, right? Yeah, it can also reduce stress. All right. Oh, but we don't have much time now, and I think this is all